Welcome, beautiful prince and princesses, to this class. This is our social studies class, and we are on section 8 with our strand, production, exchange, and creativity. The sub-strand is entrepreneurship, workplace culture, and productivity. By the end of this session, learners, you are expected to be able to analyze the importance of entrepreneurship and its relationship with self-employment. For today's discussion, the focal area is the importance of entrepreneurship to personal development. Do not forget to bring along your writing materials as well as your learner material. I hope we are ready and set for today's lesson. Well, can we identify these individuals on the screen? I believe we can do so. The first person is Dr. Osei Kwame Despite, the CEO of Despite Group of Companies. And the second person is Madame Belinda Doris Akofo, the CEO of our famous Linda Door restaurant. I believe we know that. And at the mention of Linda Door, people's minds are hovering around sizzling chicken. I can see that. The main question is, what do these two people have in common? These are individuals in our communities who have actually identified opportunities, capitalized on these opportunities to start up businesses. We will call them entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are people or persons who identify opportunities, take initiative to establish and operate a business with the aim of making profit. And someone may ask, so do they not satisfy us? Yes, they satisfy human wants and needs. However, the main aim is to make profit. Entrepreneurs actually bear most of the risks that are associated with their businesses. And these risks include strategic risks, which could be a decision that was bad or poorly made. Another risk could be financial. They can lose all the money that they have invested into the business. Anyway, entrepreneurs equally enjoy all the rewards associated with the business. So, please, because of the risks, do not be afraid to venture into any business. As entrepreneurs, there are certain qualities or traits that they have to exhibit. One very crucial quality is vision. Every entrepreneur must have a clear vision. He or she must have a target, a goal to achieve, and must equally have a clear-cut plan on how to achieve these goals. Entrepreneurs should also have confidence. Learners, confidence is about ability. The belief in your ability to do something. You have set a task. Are you able to achieve that task? The belief in that ability is what we call confidence. Every entrepreneur needs to have that. Then again, entrepreneurs must be disciplined. In the world of business, discipline is very crucial because there are standards. Protocols have been set. And if you are a businessman who cannot abide by protocols, then your business is heading towards collapse. You should be able to stick by routines. You should be able to manage the resources you have so as to be able to achieve your targets. Then again, entrepreneurs must be passion-driven. You need to have that innate drive. You need to be excited about your goal. That way, you are motivated to go beyond all limits to achieve that task. Then again, let us not forget that in the market, consumers' tastes may change, preferences may change. Even the dynamic nature of society can cause the demands of the people to change. So one quality that an entrepreneur cannot do without is adaptability. Ability to change to suit the changing environment. I believe we are all clear on that. Our very first activity for today, you are going to think, ink and share names of 5 very other important entrepreneurs you know in Ghana. Then, the companies they are associated with, you write it alongside their names. And that I believe you can do very well. Now, an entrepreneur identifies an opportunity and starts a business. Then what happens to the process of identifying the opportunity? My people, the process of identifying an opportunity, developing it, and managing that opportunity to be able to create value and make profit is known as entrepreneurship. Everybody, entrepreneurship. I don't want anyone to say entrepreneurship. No, entrepreneurship. And please take note of the spelling. It is very, very important. Now, apart from identifying these opportunities, entrepreneurs also bring together other resources, which include 1, capital, 2, labor, 3, land, and 4, technology. We call these things factors of production. They combine all these together to form a business. Please, it is very crucial for you to understand or be able to differentiate between entrepreneur and entrepreneurship. Most often, we give entrepreneurship to entrepreneur and give the meaning of entrepreneur to entrepreneurship. Please, an entrepreneur is the person, and entrepreneurship is the process. So if at all you are going to forget, remember, entrepreneur is the actor and entrepreneurship is the action. Is that clear? All right. Let us move on to some key features of entrepreneurship. In this process of starting up or operating a business, there are certain features we need to look at. And one of them is innovation. Entrepreneurs are constantly bringing new ideas. They are constantly solving problems. The ability to identify a problem and bring on a new idea to solve that problem is innovation. Always finding ways of doing things. Then again, in the line of business, uncertainty is guaranteed. There are the possibilities of the business failing, and that should not even deter you at all. However, remember, a key feature of entrepreneurship is risk-taking. You should be ready to take risks because they will definitely happen. An entrepreneur should also be able to manage resources. What are resources? They are just all the things in our environment that we can put together to produce goods and services. For the entrepreneur, resources may include money, people, and materials. Entrepreneurship or the entrepreneur should be able to manage these resources effectively to be able to achieve a set target. Remember, I mentioned providing solutions to problems. Yes, in every society, problems do exist. A feature of entrepreneurship in this line is creation of value. Providing solutions that are beneficial not only to himself or herself, but to the entire society, as well as making profit. And then finally, to be a good entrepreneur, you should be able to identify gaps in the market and act on these gaps. For instance, you live in a neighborhood where sachet water, or what we normally call pure water, is difficult to come by. What do? You have identified that, and that is a gap. You quickly act on it, and then you initiate a business idea. And I hope somebody is thinking about starting a business. Please, are we all okay? At this very point, we would move on to the next item. In my community, I have a young man called Mauli. Actually, this gentleman noticed that a lot of people would want to drink healthy juices instead of the sugary sodas. That is identifying a gap or a business opportunity. He then decided to start producing fresh orange juices from the fruits that we eat, these fruits that we have around us: mango, ginger, orange, and pineapple. What did he do? He started buying the fruits from the local farmers, got himself a small space, got a juicer, some few packaging materials, and started the business. To make it more lucrative, he branded it Fresh Squeeze Ghana. And now, he's even advertising his business on all the social media handles. Any one of us in this class can equally start up a business. You are not too young to start any business. Now, learners, we have identified who an entrepreneur is. We have also looked at the meaning of entrepreneurship and the concepts associated with entrepreneurship. Most of us actually believe that entrepreneurship is just about making money or creating products. Yes, that is true. However, entrepreneurship equally has an importance that is attached to our personal development. And in a brief, we would be looking at some of the importances of entrepreneurship to personal development. The first one I want to touch on is self-discovery. And someone may ask, how can entrepreneurship help to discover self? Entrepreneurship itself is a process. It is a journey. And in this process, the person who is the entrepreneur is likely to identify his weaknesses, his strengths, his or her interests, and then his or her talents. This way, you are able to actually unfold certain things that you may not even be aware of. You capitalize on your strength and improve upon it. And then wherever there are shortfalls or weaknesses, you'll find solutions or remedial measures to overcome them. Then again, entrepreneurship actually benefits a person through creativity and innovation. As entrepreneurs are constantly finding new ways of solving problems, sometimes you don't actually need to find a new way. You only need to rebrand an existing item. And that is creativity. It could be adding color to something. It could be changing the shape of that product. And that is creativity. In the line of business, every entrepreneur needs strong leadership and management skills. So then you realize that apart from making money, entrepreneurship also gives you leadership and management skills. Ability to communicate with one another. Ability to make informed decisions. These are skills every strong leader needs to be able to pull along all others whom he or she is working with. Remember, the entrepreneur works with employees. The entrepreneur works with customers. The entrepreneur also works with clients. And you need to have these skills to be able to have a good interpersonal skills and equally move people to patronize your products. Another importance of entrepreneurship to personal development is discipline and resilience. In business, again, are set standards which must be abided by. There are protocols you need to comply with if you intend to achieve a task. Ability to stick to these protocols and routines is discipline. A typical example is ability to manage your time as an entrepreneur. Then again, in the face of adversity, In the face of challenges, how do you manage the situation? One major thing that entrepreneurship teaches is the ability of the entrepreneur to bounce back even after shortfalls. Again, we have personal growth and fulfillment. How happy will I be if I am able to provide solutions to help the people of my community? And I know you'll equally be very happy if you are able to provide solutions to problems in your community. That is self-fulfillment, and it helps you to grow as a person. Finally, these may not all be the point. However, self-confidence and independence will be our final point for today. An entrepreneur is his or her own boss. He or she decides on the terms of service. He or she decides on the hours of working, independence. He or she actually, in the process of providing services, of providing goods, is able to improve his or her abilities. And that boosts the confidence of the person. I believe out of the many things I have mentioned, you can actually relate one or two to yourself. Are we happy to be in the class? Okay. Can we go on? Now, there is a story on the screen for us. I would read it out, and then we will try and answer the questions. The journey of Amma, an entrepreneur's path to growth. Amma had always dreamed of making a difference in her community. One day, inspired by the need for affordable, high-quality handmade bags, she decided to start her own business. Little did she know that this journey into entrepreneurship would actually transform her in many ways. First of all, Amma developed a strong sense of belief in her abilities with each small success. Securing her first customers, producing her bags, receiving positive feedback. This gave her the courage to keep growing her business. Again, she was able to find solutions to challenges that came her way. When her suppliers delayed her materials or customers requested customizations, Amma found creative solutions that helped her business to stay afloat. Balancing production, sales, marketing pushed her to organize her day effectively and prioritize tasks. She became more disciplined and managed her time effectively. Please, are we following the story? As Amma expanded, she enhanced some interpersonal skills. Reaching out to local shops to stock her bags and engaging with customers improved her ability to connect and negotiate. There were several setbacks, but she persisted. Facing setbacks like seasonal slow sales or product defects, she learned to bounce back, adapt, and persist without losing hope. Finally, Amma's business gave her a sense of personal fulfillment and purpose. She was proud not only of her creations, but of contributing to community's economy and inspiring others to pursue their dreams. Through entrepreneurship, Amma did not just build a business. She grew into a more confident and fulfilled person, ready to face future challenges with a strong foundation. I hope we got the story very clear. If you got the story very clear, can you actually mention some words that are new to you in this story? All right, shall we continue? In our groups, we are going to discuss some advantages of entrepreneurship to personal development using the story that was read. We have pairings. We are going to pair the paragraphs to the groups to make the work very effective. Please kindly listen. Group 1. You are finding one advantage of entrepreneurship from paragraph 1. Group 2. You are doing same for paragraph 2. All groups are doing same work. So group 3, look at paragraph 3 and find one advantage. Group 4, go to paragraph 4. And finally to group 5, please go to paragraph 5. In each paragraph, there are advantages. Kindly identify these advantages and discuss them in your groups. After which, one member of the group would present the findings to the class. Okay. Now, the findings we had in our groups, we would compare them to the findings here. Looking at what we have, it shows clearly that we have understood the story. One of the advantages that was identified, and this was by group 1, was self-confidence. In the line of business, Amma was able to have an improved belief in herself. How did this come about? One would realize that in every try, in every effort, and in every attempt that you make, you are one step ahead of the degree of belief you have in yourself. Therefore, entrepreneurship actually enhances one's belief in one's self. It boosts the confidence you have. For instance, the last time I asked Akria to stand in front of the class, she couldn't do so. However, after the first attempt, second attempt, now she is able to stand in front of the class and deliver. The same goes with entrepreneurship. The more wins and the more successes that an entrepreneur encounters boosts his or her confidence. Then again, another advantage identified was problem-solving skills. Every entrepreneur is able to create ideas to help solve problems within the community. Again, discipline and time management is an advantage. Communication and networking. This is very, very important. Dealing with clients, dealing with customers, and even dealing with your employees, one needs to be able to have the skills to do so. Entrepreneurship helps the entrepreneur to be able to build his or her communication skills. Then, apart from working in your space, there is a likelihood of you meeting other entrepreneurs, interacting with them. That is networking. From networking, you are going to adapt skills that you may not even have as an entrepreneur, and that would help you in expanding your business. Resilience. Group 4 identified this point, and as explained earlier, resilience, how are you able to bounce back when you fall? When you meet all the mountains in your way as a business person, how are you able to overcome them? You see, on the field, when the athletes are running, if you fall and you are a good athlete, you get up and you continue the journey. You don't lie there for others to bypass you. That is the ability to adapt, resilience, and every entrepreneur is able to get that from the process or the journey. Another advantage that was identified by our friends in group 3 was creativity. Ability to be able to come out with new ideas. And this is something we cannot take away from entrepreneurship. For our personal development and as our basic life skills, we are able to find solutions to problems. particularly day-to-day problems that we encounter. Finally, personal fulfillment and purpose is another advantage. And that advantage was identified by Group 1. We have all done very well. Can we clap for ourselves? Now, my beautiful prince and princesses, this is going to be our last activity for today. With your elbow partner, identify likely disadvantages of entrepreneurship to personal development. We have talked about the importance. We have talked about the advantages. Yes, but to everything, there are two sides, advantages and disadvantages. Kindly communicate, think, pair, and share with your elbow partner. All right. Now let us quickly go to our learner material, activity 8.3, and compare the answers that we have with what is in our learner material. I want to believe that we may have same or similar answers. For those of us who have not been able to identify anything at all, please try and identify, because there is something there. After that, let us all look on the screen and see if the answers we have correlate with this. Definitely, we may have similar ones. The ones you do not have, we are going to add it to what we have. In as much as entrepreneurship has several advantages and importance, in as much as it is beneficial to our personal development, it is also associated with some disadvantages. One of them is high level of stress, tension, and pressure. In the world of work, there is no space for laziness. Our parents usually get up very early in the morning and come back very late at night. Through the traffic, the hustle and bustle of the city, trying to make ends meet, the pressure that comes with it all comes to a disadvantage. Sometimes this stress and pressure does not only affect the physical self, where we have symptoms like being worn out or burn out. It can also affect the emotional state of the person. And that is why sometimes you want to talk to your mom and she'll just shout at you. It is not because she wants to do that. It is just the pressure and the tension that is associated with it. Then again, the process of entrepreneurship or the activities that are involved in entrepreneurship consumes time. It is time taking, because the entrepreneur needs to invest a lot of time into what he or she is doing in order to achieve the set target. It takes not just time, but also attention, staying focused on what you are doing to be able to achieve your target. There are times most of our parents who are entrepreneurs may even have to work overtime. Normally, we know that in our Ghanaian society, work is 8 to 5. However, you may have to even work way beyond the 5, 9, 10, just to be able to achieve the target for the day. Then again, another disadvantage is financial stress or financial strain. Entrepreneurship actually requires capital, huge capital. Sometimes the entrepreneur may have to invest his or her personal money into the business. There are times he or she needs to go for loans from financial institutions in order to make the business grow. And this could be so much pressure on the financial state of the person. And as I said earlier on, in business, there could be risk. The business could survive or the business could collapse. How sure are you even that whatever business you are venturing into will succeed? But as an entrepreneur, be ready to take that risk. The risk of failure is there, but it should never deter you. Then finally, I want someone to tell us, those of us whose parents are entrepreneurs, how many hours do we get to spend with our parents, especially our dads? Let us be truthful to ourselves. Yes, exactly. Most entrepreneurs are not able to have a balance between work and life. And we call that work-life imbalance. One of that will suffer. Either the work is suffering or the life is suffering. They may not be able to find equilibrium. Sometimes they go so many days, so many hours, so many months away from home. Parents are not able to actually relate with their children because they spend most of the time at work. Sometimes children even feel isolated, but that is their nature. Those are some of the disadvantages that are associated with the world of business. So my dear learners, I will actually plead with us to sometimes bear with our parents if we are going through these things. Now, for today, our assessment will be a poster. We are all going home, getting a card. We are going to design a poster to illustrate 4 benefits of entrepreneurship to personal development. Please make sure that your writings are clear, the drawings are very visible, and it is colorful enough. Please do not use too many colors for the poster. It doesn't make the work nice. Today, for our lesson, we have looked at the importance of entrepreneurship to personal development. We have been able to understand the concept of entrepreneur and entrepreneurship and found the difference between the two concepts. Again, we have looked at some advantages and disadvantages of entrepreneurship to personal development. At this point, I believe that we have all clearly understood these concepts and understood what has happened throughout our lesson. Please, if you have questions, kindly write them down as I will attend to each and every one of them. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.